Welcome to our webinar, Mindomo, the one-stop teaching platform that helps students become the architects of their own learning. This webinar is hosted by the Network of Assistive Technologists on this Friday, the 10th of June, 2022. Today, we're joined by Nadina Barzeianu from Mindomo. And as the community manager at Mindomo since 2013, Nadina has been the voice, tone, and moderator through their various channels, always building brand presence and trust both online and in person. So let's get right into our presentation as we welcome Nadina, and it's great to have you with us here today. And I do want to hand things over to you, hand over the controls, and let you begin today's session. So take it away, Nadina.
I'll be sharing my screen now. Just let me know if everyone can see this phony image of myself. So hello, everyone, and thank you for
coming
you
through.
can see
Good.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, everyone, for having me today. Just as Doug mentioned, my name is Nadina, and I've been part of the Mindomo team since 2013. And today I'd like to talk to you about the whys and hows of using Mindomo as an easy way to help students become independent and thinkers and learners. Now, some of you might already know or heard about Mindomo due to a OSAPAC license, a region-wide license in Ontario. So Mindomo had been used heavily between 2015 and 2020 in the Ontario region in various school boards. For the rest of us, and as a short reminder, Mindomo is a cross-platform tool that lets you create mind maps, concept maps, outlines, various org charts, timelines, and many other diagrams. Now, to set the background of my presentation today, I'd like to start by pointing out that we are living in a sea of information, and the need to be critical and to analyze and investigate information is probably more important than ever. And specifically this is important for students because teachers might be able to spoon feed them the proper instruction, but later on, when they will be on their own and they will need to make decisions and see how they approach various problems, they will have to need strong reasoning skills, and they will have to practice upon this. And this sets the scene for the three major stakes of helping students become the architects of their own learning and thinking. So stake number one is not standing in the way of their natural curiosity. So by enforcing this habit of diagramming and creating mind maps, we are asking them to question things. So to question things so that they can truly understand them, not just learn them by heart. And this is important because we are keeping the spark of curiosity alive. So we no longer have to force knowledge onto them because they are already looking for it. Stake number two is giving them the gift of autonomy. Now, being autonomous means being bold and confident with your ideas, and knowing that as long as you have logical arguments, you can stand up for your own opinions. And stake number three is helping students choose careers with confidence. So this is something that teachers should definitely focus on, because as long as you're confident with your career choice, it's very likely that you will be more flexible in adapting to any future work-related challenges. And I think we all know that there will be quite a few of them. So these are the three major stakes on which we rely when we say that students should definitely be independent in their learning and thinking, and that mind maps can actually help with this. If somehow at this point you are still wondering, what do mind maps have to do with all of this? I think it's worth mentioning that the century we're living in now, so 21st century, is as visual as it gets. So we see this on TV, we see it on the internet, on social media, while we do our shopping. And there are signs in the classroom as well. So I'm in direct contact with many teachers, and there was one particular teacher, a biology teacher, who told us a funny story during a meeting. So she entered the classroom one day and she asked students to describe an exotic animal. And as soon as she mentioned its name, so a copy, she said that most of them took their smartphones and started Googling to see how the animal looked like. And this behavior is backed up by science. So this is our human brain working this way. So the human brain takes an image, a general image, and prefers to overlap words in order to connect what he already knows with what new information comes in. So if our brains work this way and you take mind maps that have this visual impact due to the images and layouts, shapes, colors, patterns, then mind mapping should feel quite natural for the most of us. And there are many definitions of the concept out there. So I think that probably the most straightforward would be like a hierarchy that explains relationships of a whole. But I prefer an adapted one of an easy way to take information in and outside of your mind. So taking this with, I don't know, a comparison between a mind map and a city map, we would have to understand that you have in the center a core concept. So this is your city center. And from the city center, the main roads are branching out. So these are your main thoughts. And moving forward, you have secondary roads as secondary thoughts and so on. And whenever you add an image or an interesting shape or a color, these are landmarks of interest or particularly interesting ideas. So this is in short what mind maps are and why they have this power of capturing information in a way that makes sense for us. And like I said, there are very many studies that point out the fact that our brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. So most of us have heard that saying with 1,000 pictures worth 1,000 words. And it's real. So our brains are more of an image processors than word processors. And mind maps also have this magical way of putting our entire brain at work. So you might say that it's difficult to have both hemispheres engaged at the same time. But as you create mind maps, and there are also studies for this, so when you identify concepts and when you organize them so that they make sense, this is your left side of the brain. And when you use images and videos and colors and shapes to highlight what's important for you, this is your right side. So you're fully focused on what information you have there. So the chances to retain more of it are therefore enhanced. And reason number 3 why mind maps are valuable is because they hone this critical thinking skill. And we are critical thinkers by natures, even though we don't think about this. So we think critically when we do our shopping, or when we choose our next travel destination, or the restaurant where we want to dine. So it's actually the same thing with creating a mind map or a diagram. So you have to focus on the key information that you are reading and make it brief, put it in a hierarchy, and look for connections. And this entire process involves like synthesis and analysis and interpretation. So it's quite a creative and fun way in which you are enforcing this life-saving skills. So being an authentic critical thinker. And it's our main stake in what we do. And the small team that is working at Mindomo has this ambition of promoting this alternative method for students to perfect their critical thinking, specifically because it's very important. Regarding accessibility for teachers and schools, there was this research that Microsoft published last month, in which they surveyed K-12 teachers all across US, so all ages, all experience levels, and they wanted to find out how education, particularly the teaching and the learning side, are evolving in today's scenario. And it seems that 84% of the teachers said that it's impossible to obtain equity in education without accessible learning tools. So the focus is on this word, accessibility, accessible. And I think that you probably know this better than myself and my team, that the pandemic changed everything and impacted severely all classrooms. We know this for a fact from the teachers with whom we are in contact with. So our main aim is to support teachers leverage accessible tech, but in a meaningful and effective way. And we we think that Mindomo is an accessible tool first and foremost because it's cross-platform. So you can use it. It's designed to be used for web, for Windows, for Mac, for Linux. You can use it from the browser or install it on your PC, laptop, or smartphone. And you can use it both online and offline. So we have this functionality that facilitates online synchronization. So when you have access to an internet connection, you can move online all your local files. There is a great variety of enrollment options. So we have automatic license distribution based on the school's email domain, if this is something that schools need for quick enrollment. There are various options of using Mindomo. So you can sign up using your email address and password, a set password. You can use it based on an access code. You can use it with the username and password that the teacher sets. So this is the student side. So whatever works for the scenario in which you're using it, I'm very confident that we have a technical solution for this. We also facilitate integrations with many applications like Office 365, Google Classroom, various learning management systems. So we have integrations with Blackboard, Canvas, Moodle, Brightspace, It's Learning, and basically you can use Mindomo with any custom learning management system. All you need is a key and a secret from us, and you are ready to set up your own integration in no time. So it's a very uncomplicated system. It's something that we tend to believe that learning with mind maps is more efficient if it's let's say more of a team effort than a solo race. So we've invested very much in built-in features for real-time collaboration. And I think that the most notable is the fact that teachers have instant access to files as soon as students start working on them. So there's no need to worry whether students' work will be here on time, nor students have to worry how they can send their mind maps to the teacher via email. Do they need to export the files? So everything is automatically shared with the teacher. Naturally, teachers have an overview of students' work, so they can see who has been working on the map, the exact time, what the change consists of, so they can have this full record, which also leads to a simplified feedback mechanism. So either on a map or on an assignment, teachers can offer individual or group feedback, and grading is also available. There are many other features, but I'm sure that if any of you would be interested in more information, you would probably reach out, and I can offer a free license or meet you on a demo. But I think these would be like the key features that make this accessible for teachers. Now, with regard to accessibility for students, it's sort of the same thing. So giving that students would need to take part at online lectures or asynchronous learning activities, I don't know, video lessons, anything can be created in Mindomo from the comfort of their homes, either with an internet connection or without one, on the device that they have access to, whether it's a PC, a laptop, a Chromebook, a smartphone. And the feature that I mentioned, the one with online synchronization, makes it easier for them to move to the cloud files that have been created, let's say on the go, on a phone, when they have internet connection. Supposing they didn't have one at the time they created the file, when they have an internet connection, they can move it to the cloud, maybe for further sharing, either with colleagues or with the teacher. Easy online onboarding. This is something that I previously mentioned, with all the options of getting access to a Mindomo file or to an account. So this usually depends on the students or on the course settings or the school requirements. So we have options for most of the frequent ways of enrollment, and this is due to the constant feedback that we received from teachers in these past years in which they have been using Mindomo. Quick and easy editing. This is something that it's probably the main advantage of creating mind maps with the software and not with pen and paper, because you can do everything within a second. So you can add topics, delete them, undo, redo your actions, even in collaboration. There's no limitation whatsoever to the amount of information that you get on the map. So the map canvas is infinite. And whenever the teacher or students want to have a clear overview, all they need to do is collapse a certain branch, and they will no longer feel overwhelmed of the abundant information. So it's very, very easy to work on the map itself. Mindomo is obviously a visual tool, so there are many, many formatting and editing options that are one click away. So any bubble has the context menu where you will find everything. But apart from that, students can embed images and videos from the internet, videos from YouTube and Vimeo, which are real-time playable. They can add icons from our own gallery, which is integrated in the map canvas. They can add personal documents, notes, comments, files, so a lot of data that has all the information there, which is highlighted by the visual aspects to which they also have access to. Surprisingly or not, any map can be turned into a slide-by-slide presentation. So I actually did this presentation after drafting some of my own ideas in a mind map. And this is useful and time-saving because students don't have to focus on a secondary presentation tool and spend time copying and pasting information from one part to another. Before we talk about, I don't know, final arguments on why teachers should try Mindomo in a classroom setting, I would just like to briefly reiterate that there are many ways in which diagrams can be used creatively, but based on our experience with teachers who have been using the tool extensively, there are several activities that proved rather valuable. So the first one is brainstorming. So this is the ideal way in which teachers can introduce Mindomo because it has 0 to few rules. So all they need to do is drop anything that comes into their mind on the map canvas, then try to make it more brief, maybe replace words with images, and in time, doing this sort of activity will help them think freely without fear of judgment, and it will prove quite useful in the long term. There's knowledge building. So this is another popular scenario in which Mindomo is being used. So in a knowledge building class, you have some very important ideas in the center, and then students collaborate to investigate, analyze them, and expand. So each student will do his own research and reflection and then return to the group with input. And it's important because this will make collaboration interesting and engaging. And it's also a place where their own creativity might come out. So some of them might prefer to work more structured in mind maps. Others would like to bring the concept map component where all the bubbles are of the same importance. And naturally, they can combine layouts and thinking methods. So this is an interesting approach to using mind maps. There is cause and effect reasoning. So this is when information is being taken, analyzed, causes and effects are being looked upon, and then students draw their conclusions. Like I said, reasoning is very important in today's scenario where you need to make all sorts of decisions and come up with quick and innovating problem-solving strategies. So it's a useful exercise. And last but not least, essay writing is something that is easier to be done with mind maps. So most students hate it, teachers know it, and students say it's difficult because, to be honest, it's not a simple task to write a good essay. So the good essay means that you need to show your clarity of thought, and you need to be concise and brief. But mind maps make this easier because they guide you from going to the complex, from the complex and to the simple. And this way your piece of writing becomes accessible for yourself, but mainly for your audience. And Mindomo gives students and also teachers the option to have everything on the same page. So structured ideas, notes and links and comments with inspiration from other essays. And you can always shift from the mind map view to the outline view for further editing and finalizing your piece of writing and printing it. So everything can be done from A to Z directly in Mindomo. So this is another key functionality that has been heavily used by teachers and students. Before we draw some conclusions and you get the chance to ask some questions or make some comments out of my presentation, I would like to briefly mention an experiment that I read about a couple of years ago and moved me. So it was an experiment done by the One Laptop Per Child organization in Ethiopia. And they gave tablets to children with no prior tech experience, who didn't know English or who never saw a printed material in their life. And they gave these tablets to children, and it took 5 minutes for the first child to find the switching buttons and to power up the device. And within, I think, 2 or 3 days, most of them were playing like an average of 40 apps a day, and learned to sing the ABC song. So I was very impressed when I read this, and I think this shows that technology is quite intuitive for students, and what we as facilitators have to do is make sure that we give them the most accessible and easy means of learning, because they will eventually find the right way of doing this, of learning, if they have the right means. And it's the world we are living now that is constantly making us switch directions and change our strategies and finding new ways of solving problems. So this is the main reason why we usually tell our teacher users that they need to help their students become, like, I don't know, cognitive cowboys, poking bullet points in every piece of information they get, because it's the only way in which they can make the leap from their classroom setting and into the real world. So this is the reason why we have been working at Mindomo, but with a very high dedication towards the educational scene, because we see a very high potential in this, and the feedback that we receive from the teachers that are using it is so positive that we are certain that this alternative and creative method works, and more people should try it. So not buy it, but try it and see how they can adapt it to their own benefits. So I think this is it. So this is what I had to say for today, and I would like to thank you for your patience. And obviously, I'm very interested if you have any comments or questions whatsoever. I would be happy to address any of them.
Absolutely, Nadina. We're not letting you off that easily.
Mm.
We've got a couple questions that have come in and one request out of the chat that we'll
Okay.
get to in just a second. And if you want to bring up, because I know this is going to come up with at least one of these requests here and probably more, if you could maybe switch when you're within your screen sharing, switch over to your version of Mindomo, because I think we're going to be needing that.
Okay, got it. Would you
so-
like, I don't know, an overview of a teacher account, or just map canvas? What would you prefer?
Just put us into the program, I think, in the mind
Oh,
mapping
okay,
program itself. Yeah,
got
I
it.
think, yeah, we're going to put you on the spot, I think, with some questions here,
Okay,
with showing us how it works,
sure.
and maybe you might even refer back to your presentation that you created out of that mind map to show us
Yeah,
some of
I
the
can
things.
definitely show,
Yeah.
yeah, how the presentation was created.
Yeah, because
So, sure.
Helen's wanting to see it work, and Jim's got a
Okay.
specific question, as well as Helen. Um, Helen is asking basically the same question as Jim. Is presentation, are they exportable as PowerPoint?
Yes, yes. So, what everyone should know is that Mindomo has both free and premium subscriptions. But let's suppose we're talking about a school license that naturally gives users fully premium access. This means that all users will have access to all these export formats. So, starting with PDF, Word doc, PowerPoint, text file. So these are the common files. And then you can also export a diagram and other mind mapping formats like FreeMind and Mind Manager, and Excel format. So these are the export formats. And there are very many import formats. So you can import files from other formats and turn them into a mind map. Just let me briefly show you this as well. So I'll return to the dashboard. This is the main place with all my files. And when I click here, you get to see all the supported file formats. So naturally, we have our Mindomo file, Mind Manager, FreeMind, MindMeister. These are iThoughts. These are all diagramming formats. Markdown, Microsoft Project, text file, OPML, and Excel file.
So on that list, can you import PowerPoint into Mindomo? Because Maris wants to know that as well.
Importing PowerPoint for the time being, no. It has been asked before. So what our policy is this one. We have a forum, a support forum, and everything that any feature request that comes there or via email is added on a list. And as soon as this request is endorsed by more and more users, then we focus on a solution for its implementation. So for the time being, importing a PowerPoint isn't available, only exporting a mind map as a PowerPoint, but it's on our request list for close monitoring. So it's there.
All right. So Maris, get on to their support page and add your
Yeah.
smiley face vote
Yeah.
to the feature. And so I know we're kind of back and forth, Nadina. Here, I asked you to pop in and show us some stuff because people want to see this in action. You gave us a lot
Okay.
of great information about kind of the behind the scenes, some of the teacher tools. Some of them people that are here with us today are and or possibly on the watching the replay are going to be in that kindergarten to grade 12 area where the teacher aspect is a little bit more of what they're going to be focused on of distributing out to the students. And then we've got the flip
Okay.
side of it as we're the ones we got to teach those students at the higher ed. Like this is the other side of us as assistive technologists that we're teaching the higher ed students, the college and university students or trade schools and things like that. And I guess some of us are even in industry where we're working with employees, possibly management, corporate level, and then even at the district level or government level, where we're then turning around and going back out and teaching the teachers that are going to be distributing out to the kids. So we got a wide variety of us that are of what we're doing and where we got to see this program fit in. So that's what I'm hoping we can get you to show us a little bit from those kind of
Okay.
perspectives. Sorry, I lost. Yeah, Christine wanted to know about like templates. So maybe we can talk about that. Maris is asking about demonstration videos.
Okay.
And
So just to make sure I cover everything. So we have just let me briefly show you. We have this Mindomo help. So if you
mhm.
go to Google Mindomo help, you get this very detailed help page with sections. So there is the basic sections of working with mind maps, and you have step-by-step descriptions of what each and every option does with the bullets and everything else. Obviously, I will quickly walk you through everything, but just I wanted everyone to know that there is voluminous information of how to use Mindomo already accessible, so they can browse everything before reaching out to me if they are interested in a premium license or a demo. So sharing, importing, exporting, everything here on the basics of mind maps and on concept maps, outlines. We also cater for the business area that you mentioned, where we have dedicated functionality like creating tasks and Gantt charts. So these are features that will never be not never, because we can customize any account, but by default, if you're using a teacher or a student account, you don't have access to task and Gantt chart creation, but you have access to the educational functionality like mind map assignments for teachers, and I will show you that one. But this help page offers detailed information about all of our features, templates included, and I will show you how you can find the templates on your account. So we have, like I said, we have a lot of features and a lot of information already catering the educational area. So this is the help page. Now, a mind map assignment is something that can only be created by teachers, and this is the functionality that facilitates that automatic sharing of files. Each dashboard has a create button, and from here you get to choose the exact type of diagram or assignment that you want to create. And here you have those templates that you mentioned, and they are categorized based on their use cases. Now, if you were a teacher and you would like to create an assignment, you would have to select this blank assignment option. I already have a couple of them, so I will show you briefly one that is already created. So this is how the assignment looks like. You have a title section. You can set up a due date that locks the assignment editing obviously. So when it's the 20th of October, students can no longer work on it. Teachers can give a brief on introduction and guidelines to students and decide how students will be working on the assignment. As you can see here, this is a collaborative assignment in which students will work in groups of 4. Now, the other options would be working individually or working individually but on a template that the teacher creates. Collaborative assignments, again, on diagrams that are created from scratch or on templates that are added by the teacher. And once the assignment is set up and students are invited, and in order to invite them, you have these sharing options that I mentioned. So you can invite them by email if you know that they registered at Mindomo. You can, as a teacher, you can create accounts without an email. So this is usually useful for smaller grade students that don't have access to email. So the teacher will create a username and set a password for each student, and they will get on board the assignment using those credentials. You can import students from your predefined Google Classroom classes or share the assignment access code so students get temporary access to work on it. And when everyone is on board, what did I just do? There is this overview section in which you can see the status for each group and the progress. And if you click on view progress, you will get this overview. By default, it looks a lot like YouTube, and when you click on it, the mind map creation unravels, and each student appears highlighted with a different color. And if you want, I don't know, a more granular approach, then you will view details for all changes. What I mentioned in the presentation, that you will see exactly who did what at what time and what the change consisted of. And you can filter the editings based on the students' names. Okay. And the discussion section, like I said, if it's a collaborative assignment, then the discussion will be with the entire group. If the assignment is individual, then it will be like an individual feedback. And grading is available. So if you click here, select the student, you give the grade. It can be letter grading or number grading. This is something that we use in Europe, so this is why you see a 10 there. This would be an A. And whenever students are graded, they appear highlighted with the check mark. Just let me know if there are any questions related to the assignment so that I don't leave this type of account before showing you the basics of working on a map canvas.
Yeah, if anybody, by the way, unmute yourself and chime in if you want by voice or continue. There's been some stuff coming through in the chat that we'll kind of go over in a moment here. Definitely,
Okay.
like you say, Nadina, we don't want to get out of that teacher-based account view if there's other questions. Just looking to see if anybody has any other questions specifically around that, or if we want to then I guess the next part is to jump over into the like creating a mind map. We can always come back, but going once,
Yes.
going twice. Any thoughts, comments, questions on the assignment creation and push out and the teacher tools? All right, not seeing any coming in the chat or hearing any, Nadina. So let's bounce over into the actual create the mind map area.
Yeah,
And
so
while
this
you're,
is,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know if you can see now. I just opened one of the templates, which are like already uh, built, so partially built diagrams that come with content and guidelines. So this is a diagram on the most important rivers in the world, and each bubble has guidelines and additional information. Okay, and when you click on the arrow, you're guided towards completion, and at the end you will know a lot of things about, I don't know, the Mississippi River, the Amazon, the Danube, and Europe, but you will also get the bigger picture of how a mind map should look like. It should look structured, like you can see it now. So if there is much information, quite a lot, then you can zoom out just to see how it looks like and zoom in on the side that is of interest. It should have short words and a division starting from the core concept, namely most important rivers in the world, branching out into the specific main rivers. Here we categorize them based on their continent, so America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. And same thing, branching out of this, you have the rivers and then the most important information to be retained. So like the length, the source, the mouth. This way students will get accustomed to specific key concepts for that subject. So this is, I think, a specific terminology for geography. What's a river's mouth, its tributaries, the source. So this is just an example of how a template works, but it also shows a map canvas with its main features, so its main components. In the top side, there's always this, just let me collapse everything. Okay, so I collapsed. I just clicked on the central topic and pressed a shortcut from my keyboard, and now everything is collapsed, so I can quickly show you the key elements. So there is this main menu, file menu. Well, you have export, printing options, themes, if you want to quickly change how the diagram looks like, changes to view the entire history, changes. So shortcuts, almost all the options that can be done with the mouse can also be done with shortcuts. This is the presenter functionality that I use. So if I click on presenter, I can drag and drop in order to create slides. So this is my first slide, and then I can add this option 2, 3. In the top toolbar, the slides can be easily rearranged, and there are several options here as well. Okay, and supposing that you finished your entire presentation, you can play it from here. And this is what I've done when I presented earlier. So at the beginning, I created a mind map, and then I turned it into a presentation. You saw the end product. I'm just showing you how easy it is to turn a mind map into a presentation. Obviously, when you want to return to the mind map view, all you need to do is close the presentation mode and you're back in the map. You can view the mind map as an outline. I don't know if you can recall that I mentioned this option of turning any map into a real-time editable outline. So these topics are collapsed, but you can expand them and edit them. And there are all the options in the mind map app are here as well. Whenever you want to go back, same thing, from the file menu, view as mind map. Undo, redo, quick topic insertion, and like I said, all the formatting options and the ways of beautifying the topics and adding content can be done on each bubble. So you click on it, click on this top right arrow so that the context menu will appear. And here you have all the sections. This is the section where you can add multimedia. So notes, which have the same formatting options as a Word document, as you can see here. With bullets, numbering, the option to add images directly in a node, link, video, even math formulas. You can expand the view of a node if there is a voluminous amount of information, or put it back on the side if this works.
Before you get out of that, before you go too far out of that view, I know that I'm surprised it didn't pop up in the chat already. Our attendees must be their fingers must be on strike here. But about the math, you mentioned math, and that's a stumbling point for a lot of assistive tech tools. So can you talk a little further? What is it that this does for math?
So it's quite simple functionality that we facilitate. So for teachers, for math teachers, or for students who want to add math formulas, we have a built-in latex code, it's called. And basically, if you're using this sort of language for interpreting formulas, so you have access to a wide palette of coding elements that will appear as formulas once added. So you add them here in the note, and they appear as math formulas. Just let me quickly check something.
Hopefully your math skills are better than mine, where 2 + 2 is 5.
They're not. They are not, but I'm just looking for mathematics. Let's just see. That it works. So this is what I wanted, but I wanted the language coding. So there is a certain page where you find all the codes to get this sort of display. So like I said, I will need to, maybe anyone who's interested in, I can later check with our developers for a direct link to that latex codes, which when you add them in the note, you will be displaying these equations that you want to appear there.
Yeah, that would be helpful, definitely, to have that, okay. Nadina. Math and assistive technology, and being able to write math or dictate it with your voice, or have it read out loud properly is a constant battle for us. And any tool that has math built in, or math functionality built in, for us as assistive technologists, in order for us to be able to just know that it's there and have an idea of how it works, so that we can when we put this tool into our toolbox and say, hey, Mindomo is down there amongst all these other mind mapping tools. Oh yeah, we have this student that needs it for math class. Potentially it's a big feature that will serve a very unique population. So any information you can share, we'll make sure that we put that onto the replay resources page.
Sure.
So that's great. While we're chatting about math, because things, we don't want any carryovers. Sorry, that was my best math joke for a Friday afternoon. But does anybody in the audience have any either added into the chat or unmute any questions about the math part for Nadina? So those who know me know that I have no idea what math how to
I
talk
suppose
about it.
that this might apply to some of the other questions about pricing, because I was going to say, say if we wanted an individual, because like you were saying, it's a small niche area that that was doing this, would they still, if they've only got an individual license, I don't know if that's how it's licensed, would they still get the math extensions, or do they have to choose which like online things they have
No,
access
so
to?
this is incorporated in actually in the notes functionality that is available for any sort of subscription, free or premium business or educational. So it's built in, it's there for whoever uses the specific note functionality that is here. So it doesn't come with an additional cost. And since you mentioned the pricing aspect, Mindomo has free and premium accounts, and there are many features to be used with the free subscription. Yet the limitations are related to the great variety of export formats and the number of files that you can create on the account. But strictly related to the editing on the map canvas, what you see here, a free user can do almost everything apart from uploading personal documents and files and images. So apart from that, while you are creating a mind map, even as a free user, you get the chance to use all of these features right here, and they are quite a lot.
That was an excellent question, Helen, and ties it all together is then brings in the pricing, because I know we do, like you mentioned, Helen, there's a couple questions in the chat about the pricing and that. So I think we do want to kind of have possibly look a little further at the actual program itself, Nadina. But do you have a silly question for you? But do you have a tab open that for your website where you can pull up the pricing and just give us an idea of what that is?
Sure, of course. Just let me. I will have to maybe go in a different browser.
You probably have so many tabs open for today's presentation.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not a problem. I will log out from my personal account on which I created the presentation. So our website is at mindomo.com. And right from the beginning here, you can see our products, uses, and the pricing section, which I think is quite straightforward, structured. So you can see that we have packages, work and personal. So this is sort of the personal business side, and education. Now, we made this separation because even though the main functionality is the same, all our education prices are heavily discounted. So this is why there are basically two pricing pages. And what Helen asked, whether there is a pricing for the math. So you can use that functionality within the notes with the Mindomo free account. Then we have the single user license that costs $36 per year. So we have here the price per month, but this is paid annually, so it's strictly informative. Then there is the teacher license and a classroom school license. This is for larger usage. And you have a highlight of the features here on each package. And if you go to this link, compare plans, this is usually helpful for any person interested in a Mindomo subscription, because they get a clear overview of all the features they get for the plan that they are interested in. Okay, so you have here all the features available in Mindomo on the left, and then you can see whether you can use them with the plan that you are interested in. And at the very bottom, there is obviously a Buy Now button, and you get to choose more options. So for instance, maybe a school might want to purchase a smaller license because we have many board-wide licenses, but here you can test various scenarios. So all you need to do is add the number of teachers, then the number of students, and you get the price here on the right. And whenever someone comes on our website and adds like 1,000 teachers, a message will pop out asking them to contact us directly, because we usually offer highly discounts for volume purchases, so the price won't appear here on our website.
Okay, perfect. So the with it's the pricing is based on then number of users and or teachers and students. Is there a blanket unlimited campus license? I didn't see that listed there.
Yeah, so this is what I was trying to say, that it's not listed here, but yes, we obviously offer unlimited user licenses, so board-wide licenses. We have many school boards in Canada that are currently using site-wide licenses. And obviously the price is calculated based on the figures that they provide, like either a student PTE or an approximate number of overall teacher and student accounts. And then we take into account real usage percentage, because no school will ever use the tool at their full capacity, so all users on board, and we give them a discounted offer. So this is why this information is not on the web page, because it's custom, and we provide each student with a quote that works best for them.
Okay, perfect. So Jim's got a pricing related question, and then we're going to kind of go back and talk. There's a few questions about the product itself. Jim's curious, in a test center where students would go in and write accommodated exams for where they need additional software support. He's wondering if it would be possible to install the free version on those test center computers to be able to be used as long as he's not needing any of the additional Jim says as long as he doesn't need any of the online features, but it sounds like
yes. So for sure, yes, they can install the PC version, which we call a Mindomo desktop. Like I said, we have dedicated pages for all of them. So this is the page for the installed version. And the free version is downloadable, and it has quite a lot of important export formats. The only limitation that Jim should take into account is this limitation per diagram, that any diagram cannot have more than 40 bubbles. So in the free version installed on the computer. On the online version, the difference is of the number of maps. So a free cloud user, let's say, can only have 3 mind maps on his account, but any of these mind maps can have an unlimited number of topics inside it. So there's a difference.
Okay. So a little bit of a matrix there for Jim to figure that out and see which might suit his needs.
I won't mind giving him further information. So if he reaches out to me or writes at support@mindomo.com, we will answer all his questions and give information of the versions that we have and what would work best in his scenario. So.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, best in his specific scenario. Exactly. That's right. So we've got excuse me, going back to the questions here. There was some discussion about the just about the templates, but we've talked about that. Although there was one question here, and I don't think I've heard you address whether there's a search functionality in for the templates, or whether there's plans to add a search functionality.
No, there is. So there is a search functionality. Just a second, because I'm in another browser. So we have a search functionality for searching everything that is on your Mindomo account, starting from tasks and mind maps, names, and everything else. This search also goes through all the public mind maps. So for instance, if we want to search for geography, okay? So naturally, the search will first show your private files, but if you don't have a private file that matches the word you added there, we will show template first. As you can see, 7 continents du monde. This is a French template, planets of the solar system, oceans and seas, learn geography, marine life. These are templates. And then the search will display results from public maps. So we have users worldwide that create mind maps and decide them to publish the files in our gallery. So you can get direct access to these maps in a view mode, not edit mode, directly from your account.
Okay, so lots of stuff to search through. And as Clark, who was asking about the filter and the search functionality, saying that some students that Clark's worked with just they give the feedback that they get lost in the number. So I can see why they would get lost while they're looking for a template. They get lost in that in the sea of options there. So that's great. Chris, go ahead. You've raised your hand, and we'll get back. I'll let you go, and then we'll get back into the chat.
Thanks, Doug. Hi, Nadina. Thanks so much for
Hi,
for this
Chris.
presentation. I kind of commented in the chat that we currently recommend Inspiration to our students, and I was just kind of saying, what's the difference? But obviously, there's a lot of differences. Integration, cloud-based, all of this stuff. But I just wanted to interject quickly because I do have to run. There's so many visual organization tools on the market right now: XMind, MindMeister,
Yes,
FreeMind.
there are quite a few.
And I'm thinking maybe your support stands out, or I'm just looking for the value of kind of like, what can I put in? How can I make an argument to my institution?
Yeah. Well, I got it. So just the fact that you briefly mentioned Inspiration. So when I first reached out to Doug and we talked a bit, and I mentioned that we take great pride in having been able to provide Mindomo as a mind mapping solution for the whole Ontario region for 5 years. And we won this tender where Inspiration was our main competitor. And I think that they chose us because they saw this potential, specifically for what you mentioned, that we are because we have already been working in this direction for our business clients with integrations. They saw this potential of extending the functionality in the educational area. And ever since 2015, we and up to this day and in the future, we are very open to the feedback we receive from the teachers. So we are in constant contact. We are always following up, always trying to see what works, what doesn't, how we can help, what they couldn't find, in order to make everything more accessible, more visible. And I think this is what sets us apart and what won their confidence, because when OSAPAC discontinued the license, because it was a 5-year contract, more than 80% of the school boards which have been using Mindomo decided to purchase on their own. And up to this day, we have annual renewals from that part. So I think It's the team that makes the difference. So we are a small team. We're like 12 people, but we have been working for this product. So some of my colleagues have been working on it since 2007 when it was launched. I have been working on it for 8 years, and we're like a small family. It's our baby. It has to grow beautifully and to serve well. So I think this makes this sets us apart.
Okay, thank you for that. And if I'm going to talk to my team maybe, and if it's something that we want to pursue, do we reach out to you to talk about our personal institution and what that looks like as far as site-wide or options for subscription?
Yes, so for
And
sure, yes. The quickest way would be to write an email at support@mindomo.com with a brief description of your inquiry. Now, I will be leaving on maternity leave in 2 weeks, but I
congratulations.
have, thank you. I have a great team behind me, and they will assist you the way I would have done it. So do not hesitate to contact us via email, and you will get all the information you need. And someone will definitely reach out. You can meet for a demo to clarify the details. So just send us an email. Okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect.
And Chris, Nadina has trained them well, so I think you'll be in good hands. And also, just before you leave, Chris, Clark was noting in the chat that that students that he's working with are using it for quite a lot of different things, for organizing progress projects, work on essays, and things like that. So maybe touch base with Clark if you're looking for some hands-on feedback and see how higher ed uses it and that. And so I know Lyle's got his hand raised. We've got a few things left in the chat.
Yeah,
and
I saw.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a question right now because otherwise I could not see them. I was demonstrating the functionality. I mentioned, so the question popping in the chat was about the Gantt chart creation not being facilitated to educational subscriptions. Tasks are available, so any educational user can create a task and assign it to himself or to other users. By default, Gantt chart creation is only available to business accounts and business premium users. We can accommodate for this additional functionality for an additional cost, which is usually 30% of the license being purchased.
Okay, perfect. So that
Okay.
answers Jim's question. That's great. And I think that one of the other, Chris, you're still here by the looks of it, is another thing to add into why Mindomo versus something else is, as Nadina has said, is they customize everything or have the ability to customize everything. And that's an example of it. So if there's a feature that's in the business level that you want or something, it's there that you can mix and match to a certain degree. So that's I think that would be another bonus for us. And so at least I hope I'm not misspeaking there, Nadina. That's what I understand.
No, you're not. You're not. Thank you for summing it up that well. So you're right.
Perfect. And Lyle, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
I know, but I have a tear rolling down my cheek because Chris just left. I was hopeful to get him before he left to offer a testimonial, right? We have at Centennial, we have Mindomo. It is
Hi, Lyle. Yeah.
Hi, Nadina.
Yeah.
It is incredibly powerful and flexible. It's cross-compatible. It integrates so well in our testing lab. You know, they're responsive, as you just mentioned, to changes. We had a concern and they were very able to quickly pivot and correct that issue. And most importantly, it's cost effective, right? They do amazing pricing for you. So I would encourage, if you're on the fence, talk to Nadina. Well, not her anymore because she's leaving. Congratulations, Nadina. But talk to the crew over at Mindomo.
But see you soon. So my plans are coming back, and hopefully when I return, I will be able to meet all of you and discuss of how your Mindomo activity has been going. So I'm already on the returning mode. So, but thank you.
Yeah, she's going to be off for the 2 years and taking it right to the last day is what she told me. And I have a funny feeling that the Mindomo baby is going to pull her back in.
It will.
Sooner.
It definitely will. Last time I also said that I will taking even my last day up to 2 years, and I couldn't help myself, and I returned back earlier than expected. So rest assured that we will keep in touch.
And we want to go back in the chat. Maris is probably feeling left out here because he's asked a couple questions way back, and we've kind of been floating all over the place here, Maris. So I'm sorry, but Maris just wants to clarify about demonstration videos and YouTube. Is there a YouTube channel with demonstration videos?
Yes,
Perfect.
we have a YouTube channel. We are in the process of creating dedicated playlists for business users, for educational users, but these take time, and there are several playlists now created with the new interface because we had a major redesign at the middle of last year, so we had to update all our video tutorials with the new design. But yes, we have a YouTube channel with several tutorials there, and like I said, more information can be obtained from our help page, from the support forum. And if someone asks for support via email and has a specific inquiry about the how-to video, usually someone from our support team sends screen recordings or screencasts of the program. So that won't be a problem also.
All right, perfect. So that's great. And Maris has a specific question about adding a branch. Is it just pressing enter, click with the mouse, or something else?
So adding a branch or adding a new bubble. So for instance, just a second, log in. This was for the presentation, but in order you can quickly add new topics. So subtopics with the tab. Same level topics with an enter. This is from the keyboard. You have here subtopic, topic, and also from the context menu. Okay, you have this option here. So there are 3 ways of adding information to a map. Now, a branch is what we call a wider section of the map. So this is a branch with a mother bubble, main, and then secondary topics.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks for showing us that, Nadina. Lyle's got a question here in the chat about the presentation stuff, and Clark has his hand raised. And then I've got a few questions that I've accumulated over the over my looking through this program and watching this webinar. So just a reminder, while we kind of wrap things up with that last that list that I just went through there in that order. If anybody has any final thoughts, questions, please put them into the chat. Raise your hand or unmute the microphone so we can get you included here. And so Lyle is curious, and Clark, just keep your hand up there. I want to see it. I want to see the circulation fail as it's up, because we're going to get Lyle's question in here first. Lyle's curious if there's a dual screen functionality so that you can see the speaker notes when utilizing the presentation mode, or can the notes be displayed on a screen or on screen when in presentation mode?
Okay, so the dual screen, this is not a functionality that we have, and it has never been inquired upon. So it's the very first time that someone asks about it. Now, the notes being displayed during the presentation, do you mean the notes that are added to the map if they are visible in the presentation?
Yeah, thanks. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I love jumping in front of Clark, so I'll happily answer this question. So, when you present, like you were doing today, did you have a set of notes on the side that you're referencing? Just because I'm thinking of students, they don't always memorize their entire presentation. Is there a way for them to see their notes somehow as they're presenting?
Yes. So no, I didn't have any notes. I wasn't looking at anything, but yes. So supposing let me just quickly show you. So let's say you want to present this mind map, okay? And you add a note. We usually advise users to put larger bodies of text into notes or comments, okay? So let's say we add this. Okay. So we have a note here. Then we go and create a presentation out of this. Okay, supposing that we have dozens of slides. When we present them, I just click the note icon and you have a slide of the content within the note. So this is obviously a feature that we have. I didn't use it, but it's doable for students.
All right. So does that answer it for you, Lyle?
Yeah, I was just hopeful, like, as you may be familiar with PowerPoint, when you go into presentation mode
Yes.
in PowerPoint, it has a note screen where just you as the presenter see those notes. And the
Yes,
audience
yes, I know. Unfortunately, for the time being, this isn't available in our presentation mode.
No worries,
So,
no worries. Thank you.
You're
She's
welcome.
going to work on it while she's off for the 2 years, Lyle, just
Yeah.
for you.
I will. I
Um,
will.
Yeah, no, all joking aside, it could be a very beneficial feature for students.
Well,
to
rest
be-
assured that I will have a debriefing after our meeting today. So next week, I will definitely discuss with the guys some of the questions that you raised. If you, by any chance, have your own list of them, it might be helpful to share it with me so I can. So I can discuss with them all that has been raised up here, because I don't know if I will recall everything,
Yeah.
but some of the questions that you had and have never been pointed out before by other users stuck with me. So I will
Yeah,
discuss with the team.
we can certainly share that with you, Nadina, and our group count on us for raising at least 1 or 2 of those. And that's the unique thing. And we're going to get to Clark, and Clark's always got a unique outlook on things, the same as Lyle does. Not that the others don't, but those two are usually very unique and see things that and aren't afraid to make suggestions. And that's what our whole group in the long run, that's what we do, Nadina, is we see it from what we know that the challenges that the students are facing, those with disabilities, and from a universal design perspective as well. And we want to see these features either introduced, or we want to be able to if we just did that little connection in the programming behind the scenes, I bet you we could use this feature a slightly different way, like Lyle was saying about the presenter notes and that. And those are the things that we're famous for, to a point of being annoying sometimes. To be able to put those back to the developers, and having the opportunity to do that is fantastic. And then just to set your mind at ease and that of your developers, is we're also fully aware that these things happen overnight, and we'll expect it by Monday morning. Just kidding. We're fully aware that it doesn't happen overnight. So all right. So Clark, is the hand tired yet? Go ahead.
Thanks, Doug. I don't know. I can't feel it anymore. I think my hand might be tired. Great thing about technology, it's really helpful. It assists a lot. Thanks so much for the presentation, Nadina. It's super great.
It was my pleasure.
You've mentioned education and business users.
Yes.
But as somebody who does some fiction writing as an author, as a writer, I find it very helpful for doing using the story map or character profiles and stuff like that, and brainstorming different ideas, as well as especially a timeline of events within the novel.
Yeah.
Because I have different events happening in different places. So keeping that sorted out, it's super awesome, super helpful for that. So I wanted to mention that. Mindomo is great.
Thank you.
I really like it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will definitely give your feedback to the colleagues that have been handling the template section, because that's not my area. So I'm promoting them, and I'm taking all the fame and all the compliments. But there is quite a great team behind me, and there has been quite a lot of work for creating new layouts like the templates that you mentioned, the timeline ones, or the story map templates. And since we're not a team of writers and teachers, and we have to use all our 6 thinking hats when we approach various subjects in order to cater for everything. So thank you very much on behalf of them for the feedback.
All right, and Clark has promised us all an advance copy of his book when it comes out. So I'm just joking, Clark. Although we would all read it and we'll all comment on the detail that that Mindomo has helped you create in that.
Doug, what you told me was that you personally guaranteed that every N.O.A.T member would buy a copy of the book when it's released. That's what you told me, Doug.
We'll chat about this, Clark. I think there's some sausage in it for me from your famous neighborhood deli that you're always going to. So, as you can tell, Nadina, we're a family ourselves here. There's a few of us,
you're quite a funny bunch. I could tell from the very beginning with the squirrels and everything, but now you're just over the top. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, but we've got a few people joining us today who may not have been a few names that I recognize, but not recognize as they're here every week kind of names, and hopefully they're enjoying the attempt at comedy here, and because that's what we are, is we're a family. We want to be able to bounce ideas off each other and know where our strengths are. And Clark keeps claiming he's got this novel writing strength, and we're eagerly awaiting to see it. So so the Jim has kind of nicely tied into that here about the templates and things like that. Is there a way to organize the map in different ways, such as tree, web aligned, the right to top, the left, all those kind of things?
Yes, sure. So this is easy to do. Like I mentioned, from here, context menu, layouts, and you get to play a bit with the way you want to rearrange your map. So context menu, 4 section. Okay. And any mind map has this view as outline or view as Gantt chart. But now I'm doing the demo from my own Mindomo account, which is a work, personal, business account. So this is why you see view as Gantt here. Like I said, it can be customized for educational accounts as well, but it comes with an additional cost.
All right, and Jim has added 2 other comments here. One indicates that he's already a user of it, and he says he keeps forgetting about the context menu, so thanks for the reminder. But he's also wondering, and maybe it's hidden in the context menu, Jim, he's wondering if we can automatically create a bibliography from the linked websites.
No, you cannot. I saw this popping up in the chat, and I was waiting for you to bring the question. So no, for the time being, this feature isn't available. But as I said, if you are so kind enough to share all the questions, we will definitely add on the list what we currently don't have as a feature inquiry. And our policy is to constantly review all of them and to pay attention whether some of them are endorsed frequently, so we can consider them moving on a list for implementation.
Perfect. And Helen is claiming that to enjoy the comedic banter. So thanks for supporting us there, Helen. And yeah, let's pop into a few. There's still if there's any last minute questions, please put them in or raise your hand, unmute. I've got a couple for you, Nadina. Where'd my list go here? Actually, I think, yeah. Wow, have you answered all of except one of my questions, I think. Isn't that fun? There's two questions that I have. Storage limits. Are there
Yes.
any storage limits for these accounts?
Yes, there are. So since you cannot upload personal files with a free account, we don't have to allocate server resources for free users. So taking this into account, there are different storage limitations based on the package that you're purchasing. And just a second. Again, I will have to log out here because the information is there on our pricing page. So if you go here to pricing and then compare plans, right at the very bottom, you get the storage. So with the premium, so a single user license, you get 1 gigabytes of storage, 5 gigabytes with this is a medium price subscription. This is the professional one for business users. And it's quite interesting because with this sort of package, you are using Mindomo with fully premium functionality as one premium user, yet you have the option of sharing your files with an unlimited number of people, and they become your guest users. So they act as premium users on the shared files, and they don't have to have a Mindomo account. So this is quite cool. It's used by our power business users who are mainly consultants worldwide. They work with companies, with governments, with you name it, and they use this functionality. And for the team plan, that obviously involves more users, the storage is 15 gigabytes. And same thing for the educational packages. You can see the storage here.
Okay, and all that storage is on your servers. Is there any
Yes.
opportunity to offload it onto a Google Drive or a OneDrive?
So we have backup options naturally. So this is also something that is catered only for premium users. So we have Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and FTP backup. This is done once a day. So all you need to do is go on a dedicated section from your account and enable the type of backup that you would like to set up, just to make sure that files are being saved somewhere else as well. And supposing that you almost reached your storage limit, there is always this option of deleting unwanted, unnecessary files from your mind maps to free up space. So
perfect. All right, and a couple of those points you made, I know that they're on that page, but I wanted to draw people's attention to as well, because they're valuable to know, and I know that all of us don't read to the very bottom of those lists.
yeah.
So, all right, and I know that there was a privacy policy I came across, and that your servers are in Germany on your website. I know that for some of our people that work, especially in the K-12, the privacy policy and the server locations are very important. So I just kind of want to bring that up and make mention of it, that there is the privacy policy on the website, and it
Yes,
talks a
and the
little bit
terms
about
of use. Yes,
Yeah.
and security policy. So we have on our website, we have dedicated sections for everything here: privacy, security, and terms of use. And supposing anyone needs additional information, we're always here to assist and ask your questions. We have companies or schools or organizations that have their own custom criteria and I don't know, data agreement that we need to go through before signing. So we've done all of this before. So whatever new information you need apart from what we have there,
All
feel free
right.
to contact us.
Perfect. And normally the privacy question comes up from somebody, but it hasn't in this case. So I wanted just to draw attention
Yes.
to it.
Yes, I understand.
And then my final question, and this, unless something else comes in as raised hands, unmuted microphones, or something else in the chat, we'll end on this note is, as I was looking through your templates the other day and some of the help documents, I came across a term that I will certainly take some teasing about this if need be. Is I've never heard this term before, but an organogram, ORGANIGRAM.
Yes.
So I went looking for what an organogram is, and I wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to counter the top search in Google that tells us that here in Canada, that's a cannabis producer.
What?
So tell us what an organogram is, Nadina.
So we use the abbreviation, so an org chart, and it's it comes with a certain layout, and it's usually used by companies to, I don't know, highlight a certain hierarchy of positions within departments of process workflows. So they are usually top or bottom org charts, namely from a core concept. The structure reveals itself either in the lower side or upper side, and the new trends have imposed the right and left-handed org charts. But this is what we understand through an org chart and what we are selling. Okay, so we are not selling anything else than what I've explained now, namely a layout. So it's a layout.
And that's what the answer that I came to understand and discover from your website and other help articles. But
hopefully
I had to share that with
Okay.
you as
Okay.
some light comedic relief
Yeah.
as you head out into your hiatus of and to share
Yeah.
that with the team and let them have a good laugh. That in Canada, it is apparently is a top quality cannabis producer. Not that I would know what top quality is in that area, but anyways, I just wanted to share that with you, Nadina. So
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you. I saw Lyle mentioning something about thank you for the presentation. I'm also thanking him for the opportunity of putting me in contact with you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here today with all of you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to I don't know, present our baby. Like I said, our baby, not my baby. So yeah, the company's baby.
well, exactly, and that's so true, Nadina. Is that this you can tell, and it was referenced. I think in one of the comments in the chat as well earlier, it was referenced that the dedication that you show and the knowledge and the fact that you're embedded into the Mindomo product. You're not just selling it. You're actually you understand it. You're deeply ingrained in it, and it is your baby. It is it's you are part of the team that's raised this from when it started, and so the team's baby. You yourself, you're going to be taking your baby back in to show the team. And that. So just as we come to a conclusion here, there's the thank yous have been coming in as people have been having to leave. I appreciate so much, Nadina, with you going or staying with us and going overtime here. Those with us may not be aware. Nadina's in Romania. There's a bit of a time difference, and she was extremely gracious to stay up late to do this, and she's definitely wanting to get off to bed because I think it's about 10:15 at night.
Yes, it's 10:15, but first I need to go and fetch my baby girl from her grandparents. So this is the first thing I need to do, and then go to bed.
Yeah.
So
this is what the television stars do after their appearance on a N.O.A.T webinar. So yes, very much, Nadina. It's super appreciative that you've shared this with us today.
Thank you, everyone.
brought this tool to us and shared your passion and the team's passion with what they've created with Mindomo here. It's been fantastic. As assistive tech professionals, we need to always know the ins and outs of these, as I've mentioned earlier. And I know I've talked to you before today's webinar about we can never have too many options. So understanding it thoroughly, like we have been able to today with your help, it's only going to help us better assist those that we support. So putting Mindomo in our toolbox with all of those post-it notes attached to it of it does this and this and this, and that's what we need. So it's wonderful that you've been able to bring that to us. Your support of the assistive technology profession, those with disabilities, and the education sector itself, it's evidenced in your work that you've described to us today, and we want to see continued success of Mindomo as one of the tools that we have to draw on when our students need that. So yeah, anything that you want to leave us with before I do the final thanks for the day and be done?
Well, just with a big thank you, first of all, and with the reiteration and reassurance that my team is even more more helpful than I was today, and probably even more dedicated. They are always working past hours for new features, new something. So like I said to Clark and to Chris earlier today, feel free whenever you have any questions whatsoever. If you do not find the information on our help page or on the support page, just send us an email and you will get all the support you need.
All right. And I heard a rumor in the information that you provided me that will, when we were setting this webinar up, that we'll be including with the replay link, is that registered participants of this live webinar and anybody who's a member of the Network of Assistive Technologists, they're eligible for a free license of Mindomo.
Yes, absolutely. And as soon as they are able to send an email, because like I said, I will be in the office in the upcoming 2 weeks. I will be personally handling the premium activation. So the earliest, the better. So maybe I can even come up with some tips and tricks. So yes.
Perfect.
Whenever, yeah.
Yeah, in your spare time.
Yeah.
So, all right, Nadina, I appreciate that offer there to be able to individually help them and such. So again, those details will be issued with the replay, as well as mentioning it for those who are with us today here. So we are super appreciative, because that gives us the opportunity with an evaluation copy to be able to dive into it and be able to show and tell the product as well. So that's great. So I'd say please stay in touch, keep us updated, but you're gonna have to hand that task off to the team.
I will, but like I said, rest assured, everything will be even better than you imagine, so it won't be a problem.
Perfect. So yeah, let the team know to keep in touch with us and keep us updated as to what's going on with Mindomo. You're going to have your hands full mapping the little minds. And
I will.
And I see in their future them taking Mindomo to kindergarten with them.
Yeah, luckily there my baby girl is at a kindergarten where no technology is allowed, so maybe she will have to wait up until she goes to the first grade in primary school, but who knows.
They'll be well trained and well outfitted with
Mindomo.
They will.
They will.
So trusting that you're leaving Mindomo baby in good hands.
I am.
We'll hopefully hear from them in your absence, and you when you return. So all the best, Nadina, for healthy baby number 2.
Thank you.
And enjoy that well-deserved and precious family time.
Thank you very much, Doug, and thank you for everyone here today and for staying with us up until the end, and we will keep in touch. Okay?
Perfect. And lastly,
have a great day and weekend.
Perfect. Lastly, just for everyone here today, thank you for joining us. And remember, you can't spell education without AT.
Nice. Bye, Doug.